HD. Perfect. Welcome, everyone. We've got a packed house. We've got some friends, and we've got one of our favorite topics with Lofty, and that's AI. In fact, putting the human back into AI. I love that title because a lot of the times we go AI first and we remain there without layering it with a human aspect. And that really is where we connect with people. So I love this. Let's do some introductions, please. Adam, we're going to start with you, buddy. You go first, and then we'll move on the list.
You bet. Thank you. So I'm Adam Frank. I've been in real estate since 2018. I've been using Lofty since late 2019, so coming up on 6 years pretty quickly. I'm one of the very few, I was in the first batch, the Lofty Certified Success Partner. So they have tested and verified that I know what I'm talking about. And that I can use the system at a very high level, which I definitely enjoy. So very privileged and honored to be here.
Yeah.
I love that.
Adam, good to see you again. My name is Brandon Brigada. I lead the revenue and affiliate operations here at Lofty. Been here for over 7 years, long time.
He's the original gangster.
Yeah. And I've seen, obviously not only Lofty evolve, but the real estate industry evolve fast, really fast, especially when it comes to technology and how it's reshaping how we all work and connect together. So happy to be here presenting on how we put human back in AI. And no, we're not talking about Allen Iverson.
If you're that old to remember, which we are, that's so fun. Welcome, everybody. I'm Tristan. I run Lab Coat Agents. Got a team in LA, and we also do consulting for big companies out there. We are talking about AI. Where do you guys want to start? Everyone in the chat, let us know if you haven't already, what city, what state you're from. And also, if you're a current Lofty user, we want to know, we're using Lofty. Yes, we love Lofty. We love Lofty, obviously. Just want to know where you're from. You using Lofty, yes or no? Where do you want to start with this, guys?
Let's start with the title, right? Putting the human back in AI. And I think at the heart of that is a deeper conversation about hustle. Because hustle used to mean, long hours, cold calls, never ending tasks, whatever you were doing, right? The more you did, the more you get out of it. So my thought is, when you use AI right to help you scale your relationships, not just your task, you're hustling. And that's what hustle is today, is like, how are you being more efficient? Not how are you doing more?
Makes sense. Adam, how about you, buddy?
So I like to think of technology, especially with AI, as it's not taking away anything that we're doing, right? You hear a lot where, AI is going to take our jobs and all this other stuff. Like, this is just the next step with, instead of like being belly to belly with people, instead of writing letters and mailing them, we have email, we have the telephone. Like, it's just another layer in technology. Technology doesn't make us less human. It helps us become more human. Right. So I think leveraging it the right ways is going to get the right results that you seek. So if you're doing the wrong things with it, you're probably not going to have the results that you expect. So I think that's really, really important to keep in mind when we're doing this, is like, how, instead of like, yes, we're buying our time back, right, by leveraging automation and things, but how can this help me be more efficient, effective, and consistent at connecting with people to create, build, and maintain relationships with our database? That's really like the focus. And like every single time when I'm like, okay, let me do some AI use of some, like, I'm kind of making some ad copy, let me throw something in ChatGPT. That's kind of like we prompt AI, but we also need to prompt ourselves. What mentality do I need when I'm prompting myself to prompt AI to get the best use out of it, to be more human?
Sure.
Nice. Yeah, I agree, man. I think all of us are using AI, especially when Lofty makes it a lot easier to use. It's built into a lot of the processes now. So it's making my life a lot easier in communicating with people. All right, Brandon, I know you You've got slides. Do you want to pop those back up?
Sure.
Or there we go.
You got them in there?
Yeah, let me put them back in. There we go.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, let's kind of bring this shift of AI and what we're talking about to life. And for me, the best way to do that is through storytelling. It's just kind of how I like to speak. And it was early in my start here at Lofty, back when I was attending events more, and just kind of figuring out what the pain points were that every agent was facing. I had met an agent who was like completely burnt out with just constantly doing mundane tasks, right? Up at 6 a.m., getting the kids ready for school, social media messages, listing descriptions, all of the tasks that you have to do, all while trying to work on your business. But really what's happening is that you're working in your business. And one of the things that agent said, and I remember this, is that they weren't building a business, they were surviving one. And it's like, oh, that was tough. And I knew exactly what they were talking about at that point, because I had just sold my ice cream shop. I had an ice cream shop here, and I was also working a full-time job. And I remember like thinking that I was, building this ice cream shop and working on this business, but really I was working in it, scooping ice cream and coming in, having a good time. But that sparked something for me. And it's like, if you're buried in the day-to-day, you don't own your business, it owns you. And we have always been tech forward here at Lofty. AI has always been something that we focused on, mobile first. How can we make people's lives easier by making them more efficient with our tools? And I think that's why AI matters, not because it replaces you, like Adam said, but because it gives you the power to step back, breathe, grow, just like this slide is just full of all of this stuff that we're doing, right? Generating leads, open houses, setting appointments. And I mean, the list goes on and on. So it's important that you find a way to step back and go from being overwhelmed to empowered. Right. I mean, that right there is a huge shift and I know even in my day-to-day today, when I'm overwhelmed, I usually step back, I'll take a walk, I'll read a Bible verse, because I know that being overwhelmed takes away your empowerment. You can't function when you're in that state. So that's exactly what happens when you start utilizing tools like Lofty's AI Sales Assistant. And the slide says introducing Lofty's AI Sales Assistant because we've made some improvement to it. So for any of you out there who have been using our AI Sales Assistant for years, there's some really cool things that have happened. And the first one being that we've introduced a new language model that allows our sales assistant to stop responding like a robot, right? Following a script. And when I think of AI, I think of AI as a partner with me. Me personally, I use AI a lot as my editor and co-chief, right? I know I write out a lot of stuff, but I need somebody to verify if what I'm saying makes sense or if it's coming across how I want it to sound, right? So our sales assistant is really cool now because it no longer, like I said, focuses just on surface level script things like, are you pre-approved or what's your timeline? It's still doing that because those things are important when it comes to converting, right? But it's also adapting in real time with empathy. So take this, for example. If a lead says, I'm not really sure what I'm looking for, it might reply back with no problem. I'd love to help you figure that out. Are you relocating or is it a first time move, right? Something that like if you had hired someone to dig in and find out what's going on would ask. Another cool thing, and I just tested this out with someone else on another call recently. Let's say that we just got married and need more space. The sales assistant is going to respond back with something like, congratulations on your marriage. That's awesome. What a wonderful milestone. What area are you looking in? So it's reading between the lines. It's helping you build relationships, show up with empathy, gather more context. So that way, when the handoff happens, it's happening like it's coming from somebody that's been working in your business for years, right? Adam, I know that you're a big fan of the Lofty AI sales assistant. Anything you want to add to that?
So one of the things, like when when a lead comes in the AI settings, you can set it up to engage with certain lead types, certain lead sources, those kind of things. One of the ways that I like to use it that maybe not a lot of people know about is to reinvigorate or kind of reach out to stale leads and cold leads in the database. And I do that with a smart plan that I can trigger, which will basically guide the sales assistant to have a specific line of conversation, essentially. So in the in the system, utilizing smart plans and that action step of utilizing the AI sales assistant to kind of wake things up a little bit is a really good tactic to use, so that you're kind of getting the most out of the AI sales assistant that you possibly can, and it can help get those opportunities that you might be missing if you just kind of rely on smart plans. Smart plans are good, but they're definitely necessary too, but they're just a tool in the toolbox. So I like to walk around with a few tools in my toolbox, not just one or two. So definitely incorporate that into your follow-up process.
Adam, do you do that at a certain time with the smart plan that it goes out and then it starts, or do you also target specific leads that are tagged like past clients or online leads? What's your process on this one?
So a lot of the time, like generally the website behavior opportunities. So, saving a property 3 times or more, coming back to the website if they haven't visited in a day, that's all pre-programmed into the AI assistant to jump out. So yep. I'm kind of like, I basically mapped out those behaviors of when it will re-engage automatically. And I'm just looking for like the cracks or the holes where, okay, well, what if somebody hasn't been contacted manually in 30 days? What should we do with them? They're generally getting smart plan stuff. The AI sales assistant is monitoring their behavior for website opportunities, but really there's nothing there. And if they're in like a cold pipeline or if they're in the lead pond, we're kind of ignoring them, which obviously we need to improve, right? So I'm a big fan of basically what I call walks and talks. So I focus on communication triggers and I focus on activity triggers. And it's more about if they're not doing something or if I haven't done something, then what do I need to do to take action? So some of them too, like if they get into a cold, they get into like a cold pipeline. And what's nice is in the smart plan action steps is you can have the smart plan start dripping out. So you can have your voicemail drops, you can have your emails, your text messages, maybe at the 6-month mark when they've been in the cold pipeline. Then you have the AI assistant turn back on. It'll basically unmute itself if it's muted. It'll turn back on and then give them listing suggestions if they're a buyer. Or maybe they'll reach out and offer a home valuation opportunity if it's a seller lead. So you can dictate those either way. You can also, a little more advanced thing, I use what I call they're the conditional questions in a smart plan. So what I call them a split step, which is, if they are if they are a first-time home buyer, we're going to send them an email. But if they're not a first-time home buyer, maybe I'm going to turn the bot on and I'm going to make them basically go down the path of the home valuation so they can use their current equity in their home, taking that path. So there's a few different options there, and it's never like I'm cookie cutter in a way where like I'm very structured, but there's like a logical process. But I like having the flexibility of it's not just like a single step smart plan. Like, hey, if this happens, we're just going to turn the bot on to do this and let her ride. There's some thought process into exactly working through everything.
Makes sense. And Samuel brings up a good point here. Can't always trust it's 100% accurate, though. Samuel, I agree with you on that. I think this is where I love what Adam said, which is, if they haven't been contacted, if they've fallen through the cracks, right? That's a big if, because if we're already in communication with them, we're building relationships, right? They know who we are, we know who they are, even if it's minimal. But if they have zero communication with us. You're not losing anything. You're actually gaining something in AI reaching out. You just have to monitor to make sure that that's the type of communication you want to happen. So you can either continue it or remove it. But great point, Samuel. Great point. And also, Adam, really good process. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I just want to add, like along with that too, like automation, AI, everything else. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, most people drive an automatic transmission vehicle, right? You still have to pay attention to the feel of the road and what's going on, because when it doesn't shift correctly. Like, just because it's not a standard or manual, like you've got to pay attention to your database. So just kind of having a thing is, hey, I'm off for the weekend, cool, and letting on, like, that's risky. So you still have to be hands-on in your database. Don't rely on that stuff to basically do your job for you. It's just going to take some load off. So please monitor your database actively as well.
So I'm back. I missed a few things here with some technical difficulties, but that's okay.
We got you.
I came in at a good time, and transitioning from the sales assistant, which does a lot, I'm actually going to skip past this next slide because I want to go into our co-pilot instead of AI marketer first, because of what you guys are talking about right now in terms of the leads in your system and using the sales assistant to follow up with things that are already there, right? Not only can the sales assistant help you with new leads, but it also will help make sure that your current database is being followed up with. But our co-pilot, it goes a little deeper. It's going to scan every lead in your CRM for behavioral signs, and it's going to actually give you a plan. Here's what to do, here's what to say, and even write the messages for you. I like to think about Copilot in another way, other than just being like a nudge tool, but more like a strategic assistant. So imagine this, right? You have over 10,000 leads in your CRM, and you're starting your day, no task are assigned. You're not really sure where to start. And that those 10,000 leads is a gold mine, but it's just kind of overwhelming. Again, there's that word, overwhelmed, of kind of where to start. And you think, I want to find some people in my system that haven't been contacted in the last 90 to 120 days. They're looking for a home over $400,000 and they haven't been pre-approved. So you can go into the Lofty Copilot. You can put the parameters that you're looking for, right? Help me find these people with these parameters, and then hit go. And the Copilot's going to search, filter all of those leads. And then it's going to even give you a prompt on what you should do with those leads. Do you want me to pull them into a list for you? Do you want me to assign some follow-up tasks or some workflows? Do you want me to draft marketing content? Would you like me to set up an automation, a workflow, so we can try to get these people re-engaged? And that work would normally take hours of filtering, exporting lists, drafting messages, just to try to get something out the door, right? And something that would have taken hours, or maybe wouldn't even have happened at all, just got executed in minutes. So you pair the sales assistant and the co-pilot together. Now you're, as they used to say back home, cooking with hot grease.
What's the cost for Copilot, man?
Copilot right now is included with any new purchase. So if you don't have Lofty and you're purchasing it, it's going to be included with the system. For any of the users who are on here that are current users that don't have it, we're actually rolling out in the next by the end of this month, a new Lofty AI bundle where we're going to be able to give you the whole workforce for $69 a month. Our AI marketer retails at $49 a month. Our AI sales assistant retails starting at $39, depending on how many engagements. And the Copilot is $10 a month if you're adding it. But we're going to be able to combine all of those things here at the end of the month. And I'm sure Tristan's going to want to roll something out where maybe we run a special for that next month when it's ready to go.
Yeah, because you could just combine all those three, pay it. Yeah, that's a good point, man. And if you're looking to see where this is, if you already have Lofty, open up your main Lofty account, go to the little marketing section at the top, click it, and then on the left, you're going to see Lofty AI. You're going to have all those three options right there. You're going to have AI Copilot, Sales Assistant, and AI Marketer as well. So that's going to be interesting. A package for all three, dude. I'm down for that.
Yeah. And we didn't really even touch on the AI marketer, but that right there is another part of the business that usually gets pushed to the side, right? You know, people are so focused on following up with their leads that the marketing doesn't happen. And that's tough, right? Not all of us had, studied marketing and what we should do to stay consistent online and building a brand. And that's the important thing about running a business is creating a brand. People are buying, I don't know the number, but there's a high number that people buy the brand more than they buy the product. It's a guy I follow online who says, are you buying the product or the brand? And he does these reviews. And most of the time people are buying the brand. So what are you doing to stay consistent on social media? What are you doing to show up in that neighborhood that you focus in on as the expert? And that's where Lofty's AI marketer comes in and helps a little bit. It's like a secret weapon. It's not just a scheduler. A lot of people think of it as something that can schedule auto post and can do all of those things, but it can do much more than that, right? It's going to post across multiple platforms. It can share market insights, local trends, even create buyer and seller tips for you. So I know a few people out there are probably using systems that do things like this: Canva Pro, Hootsuite, ChatGPT, right? Those are all things that you're probably paying monthly for that you could eliminate and use AI Marketer. And the best part about it is AI Marketer is built into the system with your leads. Those other systems, they don't talk to each other. So, Adam, have you had a chance to noodle around with AI Marketer and start implementing some things with that?
A little bit. I don't do a lot of social media stuff, so I've used it more for training stuff within my brokerage and for the consulting stuff I do with Lofty users. So I played around with it a little bit. I like that it gives options. So like when it's like, hey, I want to share this landing page, or I want to share this listing to Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Business, it gives three options, and you can kind of select, hey, which one do you want to work with? And again, I wouldn't use it like right out of the gate as far as like pick one and just send it. Like tweak it a little bit with everything, again, using it to be more efficient, but also humanize things. Put your personality in everything that you send out to a human being. They want to know and like and trust you, not like a random ghostwriter. So whether you get plans from somebody else, whether it's AI from Jasper or ChatGPT or the Lofty AI here, like tweak it a little bit, right? Like when you buy a car, you adjust the steering wheel, the seat position, the mirrors. Do the same thing with your marketing and your follow-up. Focus on your follow-up so that you can follow through. Both are important. Follow-up is what you say. Follow through is what you actually do.
Well, that's good.
I like that. Adam, I have a question for you with Copilot. Have you used Copilot right now? And if you have, how are you using it?
That was directed at me?
Yeah, Adam.
Oh, okay. So I just I use it a little bit with the Copilot. I use it to let it tell me and figure out things that I may not be aware of. So I'm pretty, I'm not perfect. Nobody is. There's always room for improvement, but I'm pretty in tune with my database. What I like about it is when I go into like segments or pipelines and I'm basically toggling through all the leads in there, I will glance at the top where the Copilot sits, and I will basically I know what I like to scan for in a profile on what action to take, but I will always glance into the section for the Copilot just to see if it detects something that I may be missing. And a lot of the times it does, or it's like one of those things where like you kind of have a conversation with a friend and you're like, I didn't really think about it from that perspective. It's those kind of things where I'm like, man, I'm going to call this person. And they're like, hey, would you like me to craft a text? Like, you know what? I'm kind of not in the mood to be on the phone. A text sounds a little bit better. So it kind of helps me that way. So I'm using it as kind of, again, the Copilot, it's my little digital sidekick. It's giving me like Clippy from Windows vibes, right? But it's my little digital sidekick to help me figure out things that I may not be aware of. And a lot of times too, it's nice because it can be more efficient than my eyeballs running, because it's just analyzing data and presenting it on the screen. So I can go in there and be like, okay, what does Copilot say? Yep, cool. Email, done, done, done. It would take me probably 3 times as long to figure that all out by myself.
Yeah. So, dude, I like that. The way that we're using it is two ways mainly. Because we have so many different databases. So being able to track one is already a challenge for most agents. So being able to track a few is a challenge. So one thing that we love, and for those of you that are going to sign up for this, just this piece, these two things are amazing. One is it checks your unanswered messages. Like, hey, all these people messaged you. You haven't done anything with them. And it outlines them for you beautifully. So that's number one. That to me is very important. Number two, it does mass texting. So, I mean, you can already do mass texting, but this is just a little different because you have holidays coming up, like 4th of July, right? Now you could just go directly there and just say, hey, mass text everybody and just say, it's funny that we want to talk about barbecue because Adam's barbecue method. But I would be like, hey, everyone, what are you doing for 4th of July? I'm going to barbecue some ribs. What are you guys doing? Right? Something like that. This just, I already envision this as it grows to be such a big piece to the database, to how a database should function. And I'm loving it. So anyway, that's how we're using it.
Yeah. And, Adam, to your point, it definitely is more efficient, right? That's what AI is put here to do, is to make us more efficient, spend our time on things that matter the most, which is building relationships, growing your business. And, think about it this way. All technology was met with some sort of resistance, right? I remember watching a documentary where the PayPal guys were saying that people were like, what do you mean? No one's ever going to send money electronically. You're going to go into the bank. That's not going to happen, right? And here we are today, working more connected with technology, sending Venmos, Cash Apps, Apple Pay, all of that stuff, right? I wasn't around when the telephone was invented, but I'm sure they probably said things like, why would I do that when I could just go meet somebody in person, right? Or send a letter. So, you're going to hear that. There's a lot of resistance of like, well, it's not accurate. Oh, it doesn't know what it's doing. Trust me, this thing is learning nonstop. Yep. It is picking up things that someone else did really well, and it's saying you should do this. And it's constantly evolving, so we cannot focus on those mundane tasks. So use it for sure. Get your time back.
You bet.
Last thing here, I would just say is that we're not just talking theory, right? These are real outcomes. We've been measuring this stuff since we've started to implement the new sales assistant with the larger language model. All of this stuff is in the numbers. Our lead capture on those websites has increased over 108%. Well, someone's going to probably watch this and say, Brandon, that's not accurate. It's 107.69. Right. So, and it takes an average of 8 minutes for an agent to draft a follow-up email. Me, it probably takes 20 minutes because I'm a perfectionist. And I'm like, wait a second, that's not right. Let me erase that. So with the AI Copilot, leveraging that, 62 seconds. And like Adam said, put your human touch on everything. It's going to write something, but read it. Go back and make some edits so it sounds like you, and it's going to start learning to speak and to write things in the same way that you would. And excuse me, engagement booster up. So people are responding and engaging with the things that the AI is posting. So, it's in the numbers. Proof is in the pudding, as they say.
Yeah, I want to add one thing to this, because part of what we're going to continue to start seeing is more AI driven into a lot of the tech that we're using. And I want you to start using it so that you can get better at how you're responding and how you're showing up. So I'll give you an example, and then I'm going to drop it in here. So don't worry, I will share this. Okay. Because one of the things I do when I share this, I'm always updating this one prompt because I love working on my dialogue. right? And I also love working on my texting dialogue. So I have a whole texting thread going on. I use ChatGPT a lot. So playing scenario with a buyer, a fake buyer client right here. And I want to show you how amazing it's gotten. I want you to also try it. So I'm going to just give you the prompt right now, and then we're going to do it live so you can see how amazing it is and how you're going to be using AI more to train you to be better. Because a lot of the times we're winging this crap. And then you go back and you're like, the leads don't work, Tristan, or the leads don't work, Adam. And I'm like, wait a second, let's listen to that recorded call and let's take a look at the follow-up and the process. There's the link to the Google Doc. Now listen in, because I'm going to do this live with ChatGPT. I'm going to be using, you know what, I'm going to reprompt this, and I'm going to be using O3 instead. And O3 is a little bit more advanced. And I'm using the $20 paid version. And I'm going to put it on the microphone so you can listen into this one. All right. And the prompt is exactly what it is there. It's going to grade me. All right. It's thinking. And then I'm going to activate it and you can listen in live. All right. Just remember it's O3, so it does it a little bit. Hi, is this Joanne?
Yes, this is Joanne. I was just checking out some homes on your website. How can I help you today?
Hey, Joanne, I noticed that you were looking for homes in Thousand Oaks, and you're around the 700,000 price point. Were you also looking in Westlake Village or just Thousand Oaks?
I was mainly focusing on Thousand Oaks for now, but I'm open to Westlake Village if something great pops up. Just kind of browsing at the moment, not in a huge rush.
Okay, what's bringing you to the area?
Well, I'm actually looking to relocate for a new job, so I'm hoping to find something in the next 30 to 60 days if possible.
Oh, that's pretty quick. Okay, and are you going to be doing this all cash, or are you going to be using a loan?
I'm planning on getting a loan, but I'm not quite ready to get pre-approved just yet.
Got it. And this is your first time purchasing a home?
Yeah, it is. So I'm definitely excited, but also a little nervous about the whole process.
Yeah, it can be a little nerve-wracking. One of the things that we have is this great PDF that we send out to all of our first-time home buyers. So once we hang up, I'll send that over to you. But in the meantime, let me do some searching. And I'm going to find one or two homes that I think will match what you're looking for based on what you and I are going to talk about. I'm going to send that over, and then you're going to tell me, Tristan, you hit it or you completely missed it. Is that okay?
That sounds perfect. I really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to seeing what you find.
Pause. Pause.
Great job so far. I love how you built rapport and offered that helpful resource for first-time buyers. One suggestion would be to ask a bit more about what I'm looking for in a home, like the number of bedrooms or any must-have features. Other than that, you're doing great. Let me know when you're ready to resume.
I suck. I'm going to give up in real estate.
Oh no, don't give up. Real estate can definitely have its challenging moments, but you are doing great. Let me know how I can help.
All right, that's how you start using AI. You can start with texting too. So you can get better at texting, because I see some of your texts, everyone, and they suck. They're terrible. It's like, why did you go for the close if you haven't even given value? It's the same thing when you're talking. So I'll post it up again. It's just a Google Doc. It explains to you how to use it. You can modify it to do sellers. If you're getting leads from Lofty like we are, PPC and Meta, right? You can shift it to be sellers, online sellers. You could shift it to be past clients, your sphere, anything you want. All right. I just wanted to add that one. Anything else, guys?
I was hoping that I could maybe show, I know somebody had asked about smart plan stuff, so I would briefly show the trigger stuff.
Buddy. Bring it in.
Yeah, let me see here. Okay, share screen. I think. Let me try to do. Okay, I think this will be it. A little bit different with. Is anybody seeing that stuff yet?
Where are you at?
How about this?
Oh, there we go. Adding it right now.
All right, you seeing Lofty?
Beautiful.
Okay,
There you
cool,
go.
cool, cool. So I got two real quick ones here. Again, this is gonna be recorded, so I'm gonna kind of breeze through, watch the recording to catch it. This is not like a training thing on this. So I got one here prompted. So if you just want to have a quick and easy smart plan to basically turn the bot on at any time, what I have
Yes.
here. So you have to select a singular lead type of buyer or seller. The trigger can be anything. I just said, hey, when they go in the cold pipeline, this is going to happen. And then what I did is in the auto email is the action step default. When you click the drop down, you have a slew of options. You're going to look for the AI assistant action. The buyer option is going to be here, and I'm just going to say, you know what? When they're cold, start kicking them out some listings, and then I want to also change the segment. So I'm adding them to this segment of weekly, which in my segments I have set up with a reminder timer. Set as a demo account here. My weekly set for a reminder timer of 7 days. So if I don't manually contact any lead in this segment within 7 days of them entering the segment, they become expired like this. And I just simply need to click on the expired number. And then those are the people I need to manually interact with. I take care of business and it's all good from there. So that's one that I wanted to show you. The other thing that I wanted to show you is I mentioned about inserting this kind of activity inside of a smart plan that is already, kind of running with some other things here. So again, singular lead type, you can do this for buyers, you can do this for sellers. Trigger is going to be whatever it's going to be for the main smart plan purpose, but the action steps, so this one's a bunch of calls and texts and all this other jazz. So let's say that after I talk about maybe a decision maker needs to be brought in, if hey, if you have somebody else you want added to the account, maybe after that I'm going to add a step. See, this is the default auto email. Click the drop down, AI assistant action, and maybe I want to just continue qualifying the lead. Maybe I want to bring in the AI assistant to kind of have my back and say, well, I'm trying to manually do this stuff. I need some automation because the stuff I have in place right now isn't working as well. So on the 8th step, I'm just going to kick on the bot for buyers to just help me continue qualifying the lead while I do that as well. And then that's all you need to do. So pretty straightforward options in there. Lofty makes it pretty simple. Like I said, get the recording and kind of go over that at your own pace to implement that into your own Lofty smart plans.
Perfect. And then I also showed people if they get a little lost. Number one, it's recorded. It's on YouTube. Number two is you can go to the little question mark, and then it'll have a section that says "Show me," and then it'll just show you, right? So that way you don't get lost. Because Adam does some really cool stuff, and I'm like, wait a second, I can't write fast enough.
Yeah.
Poetry in motion. So.
It's the best thing ever. Guys, thanks for being on. Brandon, anything you want to say at the end here?
It's piggybacking off of you that you don't have to be a tech expert to get started. You just need the right tools, mindset, willingness to evolve. Like the tools are out there and we're ready to help.
Appreciate it, man. And everyone, check us out. Lofty, if you have any questions, easy to find. If you have any questions, just reach out to any of us in Lab Code Agents. We're always in there helping you out. Adam, thank you again, man. How do people get a hold of you, Adam? Because you've got like so much as well.
I got a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. So actually, being a Lofty certified success partner, you can find me in their marketplace. So if you click on marketplace in Lofty, left-hand side, you're going to scroll down until you see certified partners, and you will see loftysetup.com listed right there.
Perfect. If you guys have questions and you're inside of the Lofty community that we have on Facebook, you can always go there. You'll find all of us there, and we're always chiming in and helping out. Everyone, thanks so much. This is recorded. It'll go on YouTube, and we'll also send this out to everyone that was here and everyone that didn't show up as well. Have an awesome day, everybody.
See ya. Have a good one.
Thanks.